All right, folks, Ryder here with another hive inspection video. And we're actually going to inspect 4 hives today and check the progress of the queens and what's going on with the colony. So we are going to, of course, start off with our smoker. And it looks like it's going okay here. We close it up, and I'm going to give the camera to Marshall, and we are going to start on the hive that is potentially going to be his. I'm going to give it a couple little puffs through the entrance here. And I'm going to grab my bee tool in case I need it. Should be right in here. And as you can see, I'm all geared up. Got my kid gloves and my suit on. And it's cool enough today that I could wear jeans. I've been wearing shorts last couple days working in the yard. Marshall can shoot down right here. I'm rejuvenating this raised bed and getting rid of some unwanted plants in there. And then I'll add some compost from the compost pile and that bag of compost sitting right over there. So let's go ahead, pull the outer lid off. And give it a couple more puffs right through the top of this. Give it a few squeezes so it keeps smoking. And let's take a look at what we got here. So not a lot of propolis action going on. That came off pretty easily. And I really don't see the feeder getting used at all. So we'll start by pulling out a couple frames here just to make room. And I did not bring my extra set of hands. Okay, over there. No. Check here. And there they are. All right. So I'll just start with the one closest to me. I can probably take this glove off. This doesn't look too crazy here. And what we got here is a still unhatched queen cell. So, two possibilities: it's not viable, or it's just not ready to hatch. So that's what we were hoping, was that was going to be a queen. Now let's continue to look and see what's going on with this. Now on the bottom of that frame right there, you can see there's been 2 queen cells that have hatched. And there's another one right there in the middle that is unhatched. So unfortunately, we still don't have a queen in here. So we may have to add a frame of brood from one of the other hives and let them form a new queen if none of these are going to hatch. So there's definitely some honey in here, which means that the field bees have been collecting honey and bringing it in. But without a queen laying eggs, the colony is not growing. And this was full of honey, and there's a lot gone.
So they've been eating that.
So there's 2 possibilities. One is that they've been eating this themselves. The other is that this colony has been getting robbed. So I'm going to go ahead and slide these back over. This is not what we wanted to see in this particular hive, but it is what it is. We will hope that one of those queen cells hatches and that this starts becoming a colony. Otherwise, like I said, we'll add something from one of the other hives to make this one work eventually. That was anticlimactic at best. So done with that one.
So that won't be coming home today.
We will be going on to the next hive. So Marshall's going to do his best not to videotape my mess. And for this one, I'm going to definitely wear my glove. I know this colony's a lot more active. This is one of the colonies that was a captured swarm. In fact, it was captured in the tree right above the one that's Marshall's. So we'll give a couple puffs of smoke here. And there's actually some little gaps in the top. This is a very temporary hive setup. In fact, the possibility of if we don't get something going in Marshall's is we will transfer everything from this hive into Marshall's box, and that will definitely give us a colony to place a couple blocks away. So I think that's enough smoke. Maybe one more right here in the front. Give it just a second. Now this is sealed down pretty good. That tells me there's a lot more activity in here, that they're sealing the lid down with propolis. Lift that off. Yep, there's even some wax on that top.
Yep.
Right there. So they're sealing it down. They're trying to make their home private. And go ahead and grab the camera. So here you can see they are building out a ton of fresh wax on every single one of these frames in here. And I only have this set up with 2, 4, 6, 8 frames and the feeder. And I wish the light was enough, but there you'll see one crawling up towards the top. There are several bees in here collecting sugar, and they're using that to build out their frames. So I'll give the phone back to Marshall. Sorry I'm not commenting. Hi Pamela, good to see you. Hi Lila, or Lila, I'm sorry. But because he's operating the camera, I won't be responding. Hopefully in the future, I'll do a better job of streaming this. And again, we're gonna start, take that off. We're gonna pull out a couple of frames here to give us room. And my mentor taught me to take out the second frame over first so that you don't crack the frame or crack the edges of the Langstrom box. So I just set those aside. And now I'm going to pull frames one at a time and inspect them. I'm going to slide this one over. Okay. This is just a blank one, but you can see this is absolutely natural. There's nothing. I've given them nothing to build on, and they are building out honeycomb and filling it with honey. So we'll just move that one over a little bit. And let's do the next one. Now the beauty of using these boards here that are coated in wax, but it's a plastic base, is you get much better formation of the honey cells, of the comb. So we're going to take a look at this one right here. And this is honey. This is a medium frame. Don't know how good the camera is for that, but there's actually some pollen in there as well. And they're capping the honey. So this is honey being collected and being capped for future use. They're doing an excellent job. There's another cell with some pollen in it right there.
Okay.
So a lot of times the pollen will be along the edges. We'll see how that develops over time. You can see how uneven this is because this is a completely blank frame. This is great to cut out if you're going to steal honey from your bees. Cut it out. Oh, look, right in here. Let's turn it so the light's on it. Right in here is a bunch of pollen pockets. So a bunch of pollen in there.
Yeah, the camera's picking it up well.
Good. Sometimes I'll film something and it doesn't look that good when I'm looking at it, but then it will be better. I still haven't set up the good camera yet. Partially, I just haven't had enough time dealing with situations at the house that need to be dealt with because of my mother's injury. So here's another, this is a full-size frame that they've built nothing but natural comb on. And again, capped honey on it. Still haven't spotted a queen, still haven't spotted any brood. I do see some pollen being deposited as well. In fact, right here in this area is a big pocket of pollen. So that's good to see the bees are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm gonna say there's around 10,000 bees in here. That's just an estimate. but there's some really good activity. Okay, now we're getting down to where we're hopefully going to see some brood. More honey, more pollen. And again, here's a really good example of how these frames that don't have any sort of backing to start with end up kind of misshapen with pockets in them. And one of the drawbacks to that is your queen will hide in those pockets when you're doing an inspection. Ideally, I want to see some eggs or larvae being deposited, and then it won't matter whether I see the queen or not. I'll know she's here. Okay. This one feels kind of heavy, making me think it's going to be full of honey again. I see a drone. I'm just going to give this a scrape. There's some bees that unfortunately got squished the last time I closed the box. All right. Again, I'm seeing nothing but honey and pollen. In fact, I'm seeing a bee crawl around the top right there with some pollen on its legs, so it's just brought some in from the field. There's another one right there with pollen on its legs. So they're doing everything a colony should be doing. Just don't see a queen or any freshly laid eggs. We have one more cell to go. Okay, I'm actually gonna set my tool down for a second. Need some glasses that are a little tighter that don't fall off my face when I'm looking down. Not sure what that little girl's doing right there along the edge. This is very heavy. This is a frame that I already had given them that has honey in it. This is just full of honey. They're actually capping and filling honey. I am not seeing a queen. So I did see her last time I was in here. Look at that. There's two bees right there in the center.
With pollen?
This one right here has some red pollen on it, and they were actually doing a waggle dance, probably telling other bees how to get to, there it is, see, doing the waggle dance.
Oh, yep.
Telling bees where she found that beautiful red pollen. Now this is a little disappointing. It's good to see all the field bees are doing what they're supposed to be doing. No. I may do another inspection next week with my mentor if I can get him over here. And possibly what I need to do. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Nope. Thought I saw some brood for a minute there. Yep. I'm not seeing a queen or any brood. So all these bees are doing is collecting resources. I'm going to close this one back up. Maybe take a look. This cell right here. thought I saw a queen in here. Look at these ones working together as a team on the top. It's like ants making a bridge. I wonder why they do that. It's interesting. It almost looks like they're all strung together with some sort of sinew or something. Okay, I guess I didn't. I thought I saw a queen there. I did not. I'm not seeing her now. All right. Well, who knows why this is happening, but we may have to just try again. Try to get another queen in here again. This is a good, healthy colony. Bunch of good workers. Just need a queen to be in here laying eggs to expand the colony. Okay. Nice and slow so we don't hurt any of our girls. Just a little bit at a time. Make enough room. Put these 2 frames back in. Well, let's move on to one more. Hopefully we figure out the proper formula for getting the queen to stay and lay eggs. All right, let's take an extra set of hands. This one this hive here has a lot of honey in it. One thing that happens when you lose a queen, since the workers aren't tending to...
Oops, it's flipped around. It's looking at me.
That's okay. There's a shot of Marshall.
There
Hey, Henry. Good to see you watching. Hope everything's good. Hey, Darren. Thanks for dropping by. Let me go ahead and read that comment there. Okay. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. All right. So this one here is a little bit slower in activity right now, probably because it's still in the shade, whereas those other 2 were both in the sun. Oh, I didn't bring my smoker. So I'm going to take this lid off, set it aside, and go grab the smoker. It might not be running anymore. There's enough smoke coming out of it. Not all big and puffy. Well, nope, I think I'm going to go ahead and rejuvenate the smoker. There we go. That's much better. Get a puff or 2 in the center. And then put one over the top. Now there is an opening on the back where you can pump in smoke, but I'm not going to bother doing that right now. And for starters, I'm actually just going to leave the lid on this. We'll inspect the top box afterwards if we have to. But for now, I'm just going to take this off. I know this is full of honey, so most likely this is not where she would start laying brood. And slide the base over, give me a little more room on that side for this top box. All right, there's some good activity going on here. You can see it's a little breezy, maybe not the best conditions for doing this. However, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. That's why we've moved our inspection up to today. Let's start taking out this end frame. That's usually enough room to work with, just having two of them out of there. But I'm going to keep this one out just in case keep this over here in case I want to set something on it. All right. Nothing but honey. Probably some honey that I gave them from last year. It really is breezy here. I don't like it. Here you can see they're building out in a nice uniform fashion. A lot of propolis built up on here. Be nice to clean this, but that's not my priority today. All right. There are 4 queen cells on the bottom of that, and 2 of them have hatched. So hopefully one of those queens is in here and laying eggs. A couple drones. A couple more drones. I do not see a queen. So far, 3 hives, no queen. Hatched queens, but no queen actually in the hive. Our last cell for this hive. Hopefully we see a queen here or some activity. Wow, I really need to scrape the propolis off of this. I see a lot of pollen on this frame. Well, that is 3 hives, 3 colonies, 0 queen, 0 brood. Not very encouraging. I'm going to clean up some of this propolis while I'm in here, just so that the next time I come in this hive it won't be quite as difficult to move things around. You can see I'm just trying to slide this over and it's really quite stuck. That's better. Hopefully I'm not pushing it off the base. I saw it move a little bit more than I would like. Good. The whole base moved. Now this hive, very similar to the previous hive in that they're doing everything they're supposed to make a colony work well. There's still hope that there'll be a queen on the top. So we're going to go ahead and put the top back on this hive and look and see if there's any brood or a queen in the top. Okay, someone's hitting on me. It's funny, before a bee will sting you, they'll actually bounce off you sometimes. I've had bees come straight over and just sting me instantly, but I've also had them do what I call hitting. I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but that's what I consider it to be, because they'll just kind of bang on you. And I'm doing this to get these bees to go down a little bit, less likely to crush any of them. Don't want to crush the workers. OSHA might get on my case. Okay, that was funny, Marshall. Okay, you have to beg for a laughter. It wasn't funny. Okay, so this one is really full of honey. It's quite heavy. It's also got a lot of bees in it. I'm gonna set it just a little off kilter there so that I can pull my extra set of hands out, my helper rack, and then I'll slide it over the rest of the way. Can you tell it's heavy?
It's heavy.
The sounds I'm making should signal that. Alrighty. Take off the inner lid. Put our helping hands up here. And we'll start with this frame here. Okay, nothing there. Certainly nothing there. Okay, now we got enough room to work. Well, I think I'll do one more. Okay. There we go. Now, because there's no queen excluder, the queen could be in the top or bottom of this one. That's nothing but pure honey. Oh. Need to slow down a little bit because I definitely felt I crushed one there, and the last thing we want to do is crush the queen. See a couple drones, about half a dozen drones on that frame. A lot of busy bees. I don't think I've inspected this one completely yet this year because we've just known it's a bunch of honey. Is a lot of propolis in here. Transfer everything from this to a new box and harvest the propolis. There she is. There she is. Why she's not laying yet, I have no idea. There she is, right there. There's
Oh yeah, I see her.
She's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to be real careful and just put this back. And, you know, it may be that she just mated and she hasn't started laying eggs yet. Don't know. But I'm going to be super careful and put this one back. Actually, I'm going to wait till she crawls to the center a little bit. Where has she gone?
She's on this side still. At the corner.
She's in that corner, and I don't like that. I don't want to.
She's crawling back up as you're going down.
She's going. Okay, so I'm comfortable that she's in a safe place. I slide this one back over. Nice and slow. Okay, so 1 out of 3, we've got a queen. Apparently, she may or may not be fertilized yet because she is not laying any eggs. I'm actually going to rearrange this box a little differently. These two in the center, and maybe they'll develop some brood on those. And now I'll bring these two back over. Better to have brood in the center, so it's possible that they'll build those out. Yeah, this box really needs this propolis cleaned out. Okay, this little girl right here is not very happy with me. Fortunately, every now and then you get a bee that's crushed, and they send out a pheromone when they're crushed or injured, and the other bees don't like it. Wow. I gotta scrape some propolis off this one. It just does not want to go back in. Today is not about collecting propolis. I'm not trying to save this. I'm just trying to make it work a little better. Yeah. There's so much propolis buildup in this hive. Okay, so we know there's a queen in there. 1 out of 3, I'll take that. And they are a little agitated. So if we see that those other queen cells haven't hatched, in our next inspection, we might move those to one of the other hives.
Okay.
I'm not moving them right now simply because I'm happy she's in here and I want to leave that alone. Let's move to our last hive. We are 3/4 of the way done. Okay, so in this one, need a place to set the top box. So we'll grab something for that. All right, we've got some light here. So since we first started our inspections, we've actually got some light shining over here. So this should be good. Okay, so we know there's no queen activity in the top box here because we have a queen excluder in it. So I'm going to show you again here how we can actually smoke this box directly through access of that little opening there. Maybe a couple puffs on the front side. Go ahead and loosen this up. I heard the propolis cracking, so they are sealing it somewhat. I'm just going to take the whole thing off, not taking the top box off in any way. Just going to leave the queen excluder on the bottom since it decided it was going to stay. Here we go. Puff over the top. All right, this is really beautiful to see because in this case, we have not been feeding these bees. We didn't give them any sugar water. So every bit of this is all natural. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 completely built out. And I believe only one of these was full of honey when we started. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good inspection. This is a very good looking hive from my perspective right now. Nice shot of your fingers there,
Yeah,
Marshall.
I noticed.
Excellent.
I noticed that.
I'll point that out in the YouTube upload. All right, so I'm going to get my extra set of hands. Last time I tried to put them on the other side and it didn't work too well. Let's test this for depth. Well, we can get one on there. And if any of these frames are short, we'll be able to use those. This hive is going to move, so it's a little difficult to work with right now, but not a big deal, not a big difficulty. Just pull these two end ones out carefully. And we might take the next one and put it on the holder. All right, lots of activity on this one. This is a brand new one, and you can see multiple places where they're building out the wax. It's really good to see. I might try to put another frame in here, but as you can see, take a shot straight down at that one, Marshall. Look how much they're building out that comb.
Wow.
So it should only come out about 1/4 of an inch, and there it's coming out about 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
So it's limiting the number of cells I can put in there. Here we go. Let's see something good. I see pollen. I see honey. I see a lot of really big cells there, which makes me think those are for drones. So they may be planning on making some drones. I may be wrong. It may just be the way the light's hitting it and because it's built out so far. I do not see a queen. I do not see larvae. I just see honey and pollen and lots of really good workers. Let's move to the next one. Okay, I see some capped honey on this one, and it's freshly capped. I see a queen cell right there on that.
Oh yeah,
upper
there it
corner.
is.
There's a queen cell that's unhatched. But there was a queen in here previously. I've seen her. I also see a couple of hatched queen cells in there. So this was one of the frames we brought over from the original hive. That was probably part of those swarms we had earlier this year. I'm sure I'm learning an awful lot about hives this year that I didn't know before. And part of that, the excitement of the swarms, is making me take this more seriously, and hopefully I'll be doing a better job as a beekeeper. More honey, more pollen. Really healthy looking colony. Just, I would love to see some eggs and larvae. It's interesting, this upper corner.
Yeah.
How built out it is.
It's huge.
Wow, look what they're doing right there. They're either drinking honey or cleaning up a mess.
Uh-huh.
Unsure.
Huh.
Really quite interesting. It's weird how that's a big ball of activity there. Now, I can see why people prefer to use bare hands. And I would love to use bare hands, but I have a moderate allergy towards bees, so I tend to swell up a lot. All right, this is a lot of fresh honeycomb. Interesting things going on here. Still no queen. It's the same thing with every one of these hives. We did find a queen in the last hive, but most of what I'm seeing is just resource collection and building up of cells. There's a gap at the bottom, and that's a place that a queen likes to hide when you're doing an inspection. You saw how that last queen was hiding there on that bottom corner
Yeah.
of that one frame. Yep.
Sticky fingers.
Yep. All right, this was our last one. If I recall correctly, I think this was the frame of pure honey I put in here. So I'm not really thinking I'm going to see anything on this that I want to. Yeah, this was the frame that was all the honey I gave them. And I do not... Is that her? Nope. See some more red pollen. I don't know why I get a kick out of seeing red pollen. Well, I'm not seeing a queen. I'm going to put one of my blank frames on this end. So no queen, but a lot of good activity. I am going to have to leave gaps in here, which unfortunately is not really what I want to do. Come on, girls. Can you scoot these out of my way there? Come on, Gabe. There we go. So, we're just going to leave this one alone and inspect it again next week. Now, I did see a queen in here previously. This was a swarm capture. So, we may just not have seen her. And she may also be out on a mating flight or something to that effect. Is this one we saw a cell in that was on?
Yeah, there was an unhatched cell.
You seem to be a little upset. We know she's not in the top because there's a queen excluder in the top. So gently put this back in here. We're going to call it quits for today. I have other things to get done. Let's see if our smoker's still got some activity in it. I'm going to try to get these girls to all get down off the top. Wind's not cooperating with me. Two, four, 6, 8, 9. I would like to have 10 in there, but because the way they built it up, I don't want to be crushing bees. I don't want to be crushing a queen if she's hiding there. So I'm going to go ahead and gently put this back on top, and we'll call it a day. right. So that's it for today. We saw one queen. We saw two very healthy hives. One, I'd say decently healthy hive, and one that's not doing very much at all. So I'll be doing this again next weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, and we'll see what progress has happened and what's changed, and possibly my mentor will be here that day. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Thanks to Marshall for working the camera, and have a wonderful weekend. Ryder out.